Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday. I'm really excited to go live because I have brand new lighting. So the lighting in my office is so much better. It's normally like a very yellow light, especially if I'm going live or doing any videos in the evening. So this is like my first time trying it out. I literally just set the lights up. You might have seen the video that I posted last week about like setting up this chair. So I have the chair in place. I have like the little end table. So when I film like actual videos, I'm going to be able to use all of this. So I'm excited. So hello, if you're here, I'm doing a surprise live. This is called Office Hours. I don't know what you all think of it. So I want your feedback, but my goal was to go live more often just because I think it's fun to connect with you, answer real questions. Like I can answer questions on the fly about any leadership or management questions that you have. And so I thought, why not do office hours? And right now, what works for me is Sundays at 8 p.m. So I'm going to try that and see how many people are on. And I didn't give any notice for today, so I would not be surprised if like no one pops on for this live, but that's okay. So I thought I would just try it, and then we'll just plan for next week. We'll plan for like future weeks. That way, my audience will start to know, and I'll start talking about it. So yeah, and plus making live videos is so much easier than actually filming and recording, like editing videos. Just the editing part takes a long time, and I haven't quite outsourced that yet, although I'm thinking about it. I'm probably going to do that at some point. I just really do enjoy editing my videos at this point, but it takes some time. So live is kind of fun. You just go live and you post it, and then the goal is to just engage with your audience, your community. So hello, good evening, everybody. Depending on where you are watching, if you're watching the replay, write replay in the chat. I would love to hear where you're watching from. Like, where are you in the world? I'm already realizing I need like a desk to sit this on in front of me. I'm like balancing this on my knee. So for today, let's see, can we actually do that? Let's see. I'm going to swing my thing around. I have my earrings all set up over here. Let's see what I can do. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much easier. Okay, perfect. Okay, good deal. And if you don't mind, cheers. It's Sunday night. Okay. So I wanted to share a couple things with you. And then if anyone pops on, I will answer questions. But office hours will be just me answering your questions. So I'll probably submit, send an email out to my email list, my community, see who has questions. I'll for sure get to those questions on the office hours. And then I'll try to answer any questions live as well. And then some other ideas I had for office hours was to maybe like react in real time to some of the leadership articles that come out, especially some of the ones Harvard Business Review sends. I get all these emails in my inbox that I'm like, oh, that's controversial, or oh, I disagree with that, or oh yeah, I totally do that. And I'd love to react to those or on LinkedIn. So if you have articles that you see that you want to send me, I'll put my email address in the chat. It's Kayla at kfaconsulting.org. Send me your articles to react to. So these are your leadership or management articles to react to. You can also, or you can DM me on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is KFA Consulting. KFA Consulting. There you go. Okay, perfect. So that's kind of the format of so today, just because it's Surprise Live, I had a couple themes that I had prepared to talk about. So first one is what I'm doing with KFA Consulting and what kind of content you're going to start to see from me. So over the last few years, I've had this YouTube channel for almost 3 years. It's coming up on 3 years in July, and KFA Consulting has been an LLC since December 2021. However, I started the podcast under its first name, Glow Getters Life, back in 2018, and like started sharing leadership tips since 2018. So it's been like this evolution. And over time, I realized like I've been talking to like a lot of people. When you talk to a lot, you don't talk to anyone. So basically, it's just like professionals, leaders in general. And there's still like a ton of questions about like what is a leader, right? Am I a leader? I'm not sure. And so I just wanted to start to like hone in and get really specific about who I'm talking to when I'm talking about like tips for leadership and how I can serve. So you're going to hear me talk about like millennial managers because I want to work with people that are millennials like me. That doesn't mean I won't work with people who are like Gen X, who are like born in the 80s, or Gen Z that were born after like 1997. I'll totally work with those folks. Or other people, but really, like, I really want to talk to people who are kind of my generation, because I think that is a generation right now that we are managers and we have like zero training, and I just really vibe with y'all, and I think it'd be fun to talk about like being a 90s child and all the things like that. Like, that's who I vibe with. So I would love to talk to people like that. So if you hear me say millennial manager, like, I'm talking to you if you're a millennial. Again, it doesn't mean that I won't work with people that are outside of that, but really, like, when I'm trying to like build my audience, like, that's who I'm interested in working with. So if you are a leader and you know somebody who is sort of a millennial, like earlier in their career, like I've been in mine for about 10, almost 11 years now, and they're leading a team, definitely share this channel with them. When I say manager, I mean leading leaders. So, like, I'm a leader of leaders. That's who I want to talk with, because a lot of my systems are about leading leaders who are doing the work and working with their frontline teams. But it doesn't just mean that I'm not going to work with people that are, let's say, supervisors who are leading a frontline team. Like, I would also love to work with those people. Technically, they're also managing, right? Management is just like a very broad term. So, yeah, when I say manager, I mean someone who's a leader of leaders, but also a lot of it will apply to people leading, people who are on like the front lines or like directly doing the grassroots work. But a lot of times I love to work with leaders of leaders, if that makes sense. So that could be like a director leading a manager, right? That could apply as well. And so I recognize in different fields, there's different titles for work. So just like listen to the content and see if you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's me. If you feel like that, then I'm talking to you. So I'm going to be trying to share a little bit more specific and focused information related to that. And I have some cool things coming. But really, my main strategy this year is to get super focused on talking to the right folks who I want to work with. And then as well, I'm kind of like, my word for the year is like creativity, but also like simplify, 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 simplify. I'm a person who has like a billion ideas. I was talking to my mom on the phone today about it, and she's like, "You've been like that since you were a kid, my dear." I'm like, I know, I have all these ideas. I want to do them all. And it's like I can do all of them, but not all at the same time. So I'm really leaning into the things that are already working for me, or the things that I haven't really like gone 100% on. For example, I'll just be transparent with you. I have like almost 1,000 people on my email list, and I barely send any emails out. And I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity. So if you're in my community, if you've joined my newsletter, my email list, I'm going to be starting to send emails out more regularly, and I'm going to be dedicating specific time to that. Rather than Instagram, I'll still show up on social media, I think, but for me, it's like there's still a little bit of that disconnect where it's like, it's not fun. I get on there and I'm like, oh, it's work. This is tough. It's a lot easier for me to show up on YouTube. I think the community is a little bit more positive. There's less like comparison going on. Everybody is really celebrated. The audiences are just great. So I'm really leaning into like email marketing, or just basically sending emails that add like huge amount of value to the community members who have already said like, yes, I want to hear from you. So if you're saying that, I just redid my email welcome sequence. So I had a lovely woman, Amelia. She set up my email welcome sequence like 3 years ago and did an amazing job. And I've just like gone in and updated it so that it's more relevant for all the content that I put out today. 3 years ago, I didn't have as much content as I have now. So it's been cool to like be like, oh my gosh, I can add like more and more specific things in these emails. So that's really cool. So you'll see probably like a minimum amount of me on social media and a lot of me in the email inbox, as well as my goal is to be here on YouTube. So YouTube is just fun for me. It's like one of the only platforms where I found like I enjoy being consistent. Like I love showing up for you all here. So that's really fun. So those are the two things you'll see from me. Also, if you haven't been to my website in a while, I'm going to put it in the chat because I've taken some time to update it. It's kfaconsulting.org. Super simple. I've streamlined it, changed some of the pictures, gotten really clear on my services. So just wanted to let you know I'm taking about 3 one-on-one clients per quarter right now. And so you can sign up via a free coffee chat with me. It's a 20-minute chat. I just ask you like basically that's a good service if you're looking to meet a goal for this year and you need my coaching and consulting, or if you want help like overcoming a problem, like you need help coaching your team members, or you have like a big project, or if you have a mindset issue, or if you have like a leadership maybe bump in the road and you're like, what do I do next? Like what would help me in this situation? I am a certified John Maxwell team member coach. So John Maxwell is huge in leadership. So I was actually trained by some wonderful coaches on him, and I don't want to like misspell her name, so I'm gonna type it up or look it up here. Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say Hillary, that's not right. So Valerie Burton, also huge best-selling author. So she actually trained me in some of the sessions. So you actually have to attend like a John Maxwell. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like a huge conference where you get certified. And so Valerie Burton trained live, and then I also took all of her courses on the John Maxwell like back end of their website to be a certified coach. So I can help walk you through problems that you have in your leadership journey, but also like I have 11 years of healthcare experience, and 7 of those I've spent supporting teams and managing. And so I've had a lot of folks in my office like, Kayla, I have this problem, I have this problem, or I need to maybe coach my team members on like elevating their leadership or meeting deadlines or going through a rough patch personally or professionally. And so like literally my whole job is coaching, like having coaching conversations. So yes, I have this certification, but also like practically like being a manager is a lot of not doing a lot of the work, but it's helping others do the work well. And so how do you do that? You work through their mindset, you work through their systems, you help coach them and help them get to the right place and get along the leadership path, the right journey, the right path, and then hit the right destination. So that's crazy. It's super fun. It can be draining at times, but mostly it lights me up and gets me excited about my work. So yeah, one-on-one coaching services, about 3 clients a quarter. And then I also have a course called Career Kickstart. I might be rebranding it. So far it's framed all about how to organize your work and create systems, and you can do it in a month. And I still believe in that. I think that's exactly what it is. But I also want to record some new modules that are specific to managers that say, yes, you can implement these systems for yourself, but also what if you were to take these systems and give them to your team and implement them as you onboard new leaders? So my goal is to sort of package it as like, this is a done for you onboarding toolkit for your new employees. Like how cool would it be if you brought on a new team member and you were like, here's everything you need to do and know, let's do this together. And then the expectations are super clear. When you don't set up those expectations, it sinks pretty quickly. And then you find yourself doing their work. And it's this like cycle that is very hard to get out of. So that would be awesome. I can't wait to kind of add a few modules related to that. But nevertheless, like if you purchase the course now, like you would be given access to the future content that I would create around it as well. So that is not going away. It would not disappear. You just get more. But I'll be launching that later. I haven't decided when. But yeah, that's really what I'm focusing on, courses and one-on-one coaching in this time where I'm going to be emailing you and being on YouTube. Like That's it. So that's kind of where I'm at with KFA Consulting. Um, and then the other topic I want to talk about today was Leadership Development University. So this is something I'm doing for my work. So if you don't know me, I work in healthcare. I'm a system level program manager, and in addition to like all my work, I'm also on a committee for people engagement. So we have different goals or performance dimensions for my organization. And one of the areas is engagement, people engagement. Um, so we started listening. I think we always should have been listening, but really our supervisors were speaking out like during COVID, during the last few years, like I need more support. Like I'm new in my role. I was onboarded during COVID. I have employees that have extreme mental health needs. I have employees that are demanding a lot when they're interviewing. I have employees that do intense work, and I need better systems to support them. And also, like I lack community. I'm new, and I've never met any of these supervisors across the system before. I don't know who the system level leaders are. I've never met our VP. Like, who are these people? So really excited to kind of brainstorm like what would that look like. And actually back in 2019, this is something that I wanted to do with one of our directors, is create like the year of the leader, where we like give intense support to the leaders, the supervisors, who are also managers, right? So they have the tools to then engage their frontline teams. COVID hit, and we didn't really do like goals like this for the year. So today, now we're like circling back to that idea, and we have a whole year of content planned. So basically the structure is it's a year-long leadership development, what we're calling it university, where we have content every month. And then January, April, July, and October, so each quarter, we have what we're calling like big groups, where we bring all like 55 to 60 supervisors on site, plus all the managers and all the directors and the VP, to a huge room, which is called like the Innovation Center. And we deliver system level content, or like content we want everyone to know. We do like icebreakers and fun games and like things for people to get to know each other and build community. And we also have them in their small groups. So on the quarters where we don't have big group meetings, we have what are called small groups. So we partnered leaders that have like functions, like they lead the same types of folks, but maybe they're located around the system and they might have never met. We paired them all together, and then on the months like February, March, and then May, June, and like August, September, November, December, they meet as a small group and cover different topics, and they can go deeper into those topics. So these quarterly meetings, these big groups, are huge day-long events. These small groups are just like 1 hour once a month. So that is just it's a lot of work. And hello, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. It's a lot of work, and it's so mentally draining. But at the end of it, it's just like the best thing that I could possibly have done. So basically, what I do is I work with my people engagement committee. We have, I don't know, like a handful, well, I think like less than 10 people. And we talk about the different topics we want to have for these supervisors. And the cool part about this Leadership Development University, or LDU, is that we basically sent the leaders, the supervisors, a survey, and we're like, hey, what do you need support on? What would you like us to teach you? And so what we said is this content is like a mix of our organizational development learning website. Like this is like the content that our organization already puts out. Like it's a combination of that, like stuff we know exists already. So we're not recreating the wheel, and we can point you to existing resources, plus everything that like you say that you want to hear about. So we're literally creating the content based on what they want. So this is like the coolest thing to me, is that it's like a self-created university, like self-created content, which is really cool. And then we literally, what we're doing is we're PDCAing it, or Plan, Do, Check, Act, which just means we're continuously improving. So we had January where we did our kickoff, and we uh, had the content planned, and we had the day, and we delivered the content, and we got amazing feedback from it. We gave breakfast, we had lunch, we talked about leader standard work a bit. We talked about performance appraisal. Like, we were trying to do things that were super relevant. Like, they were all doing performance reviews in January and February and March. So what would that look like? And it started out with the theme of commencement. So commencing this LDU or university. So we got some amazing feedback, but then we also heard like, we wish you guys had gotten through the whole agenda, because we didn't get through a whole agenda because people wanted to keep talking about performance appraisal. So we ended up shortening the amount of content and just like focusing on like 2 big areas instead of like 3 or 4. They said they wanted to get in their small groups faster. So instead of being like lecture style for the first half of the day, it was group style with activities throughout the day. So less lecturing, more activities, so that they would leave with work actually done and then ready to implement when they go out to their teams. So it was really cool. And this quarter was spring break themes. So again, it's like a school theme. So commencement, spring break, field day, I think is our next theme, or homecoming. And then I'm not sure if we decided if it's going to be homecoming or graduation at the end. But that is just, it was so fun. So this time, the last time it was like black and gold balloons and like chocolates with graduating class of 2023, and just really like school. I wore my Letterman's jacket. It was really fun. And the second big group, which was on last Thursday, was spring break. So I had like an inflatable palm tree, an inflatable flamingo pool. We had like mini beach balls that we gave everybody. Instead of beer pong, we did beer pong. So my husband helped me come up with this idea where instead of putting beer in the cups, we had each small table had like 3 cups on each side. They were taped to the table, so they were weighted down. And then each cup had a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in it. And then they would play beer pong, right? And if you get in like cup number 2, let's say, 2 corresponded with a question on the screen. So they would have to answer that question or that prompt in front of the group. So it was like an icebreaker. So the questions were like, your like this like the movie you find the most scary, like, are you a green thumb or not? Your biggest pet peeve, stuff like that. So they said that was really fun, and we received real-time feedback that they want more activities like that. Yeah, so this time we focus on employee connections, surrounding one-on-ones, intentional connections, as well as we brought our partners from HR, and we had like a leave of absence information as well. So some really good questions like, when do I move from coaching to corrective action? Other questions were like, how do I deal with mental health in the workplace? Like, I want us to be supportive, but I'm what resources are available? Just like, how do I have a coaching conversation? Like, what does that look like? So that was really fun. And then in the afternoon, we talked about our engagement surveys. So we went through, so our organization does employee engagement surveys every year, and then they do like a pulse survey, like a mini survey at another time of the year. So it's just one piece of data, but we as leaders, we have to come up with plans for how we're going to respond to this. So I gave a presentation about how like engagement surveys can be seen as very trendy, and like the history of them, and we may or may not agree or disagree with them, but it's still something we have to respond to. So what do we do with that information? So we talked about how, let's think about like sustainable changes that we can make. Like, instead of implementing like a quick fix or a band-aid fix or a trendy fix, how can we implement something that's sustainable and is part of like our system, so that if we were to move into a different role, or if our team was to evolve, like that fix or change would live on and that would remain relevant and not just trendy. So that was really fun. And I think the first step is like review your results and then talk to the team about it. And that piece can be hard, especially if your scores are lower, because some of those questions are like about the amount of time or energy your leader can support you in, or like things that we can't control, like maybe how much someone's paid, right? But we can talk about why people are paid the way they are in the market and all that, and try to give context. So these are like very nuanced conversations that our supervisors are having to have with their teams. So it's really fun to just be able to like talk about it, so they can start thinking about how they might answer these questions or how they might want to share with their teams. And like whether it's in a small group or it's like multiple small team meetings over time, because some of these folks have huge teams. Like some teams are like 5 people and then some teams are like 75. So yeah, so that was really fun. So I just appreciated all the engagement. And I think the coolest part for me was that at the first meeting, it took a little bit for everyone to warm up and feel comfortable and safe to talk and like share their real experiences. But this time it was like people were raising their hand and just like helping each other right away. Like one of the supervisors said something about being short staffed. And instead of having like myself or one of the other leaders, like directors and managers, jump in with their ideas, the other supervisors started asking him questions like, have you tried this? I would do this. Tell me more about this. And I was just sitting back like, oh my gosh, they're literally coaching him in real time in front of like 80 people. Like to me, that was the coolest, probably like the biggest achievement, I feel like, for me, just to see that they were comfortable and felt like psychologically safe enough to just like go there with their questions, like be brutally honest and vulnerable. So I'm excited. Last month they talked about leader standard work, so I need to figure out what the content is going to be for May. So May and June they'll be in their small groups diving deeper. So it'll probably be around like their plan for their engagement surveys and talking maybe through maybe working together as a small group for how they're going to implement some of those sustainable changes. And then we'll just see. Like, I'm going to send another survey next week. I'm going to try to get like all the wrap up material back to them on Monday with a survey saying, like, let us know how we did this time. We had some IT technical issues this time that we didn't have last time, but I think it overall went super well. So I'm curious to see what their next thing that they would really want us to hear about. And if we're still on the course from what they told us at the beginning of the year, or if it's like changed at all. So yeah, that'll be something that I look forward to just getting their feedback on. So what I'm learning is, excuse me, that it is a lot of time and energy invested into creating this content. Although I am super energized by it and I'm always able to make it happen. So who knows, maybe someday part of KFA Consulting could be coming into corporate environments and doing some sort of consulting like this. And maybe it could just be me bringing this, or what I would love, it would be like a collaboration among the leaders on like some sort of people engagement committee working with me to help them create this content quicker and easier so they can focus on maybe presenting it or soliciting feedback or like being right at the elbow with those leaders to support them. But yeah, like I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. I really love doing this. This is like the highlight of the work that I'm doing. But I will say Friday, I was like, I should have taken the day off because I was so drained and I had a bunch of meetings. So I wasn't really able to log off early or anything like that. I worked all day on Friday. And then Saturday, I was up with my kids and I ended up taking like a 2-hour nap. And then I went to bed at like, I went in bed at 8 and I think I was asleep before 9 o'clock last night. So, yeah, even for extroverts like me that are like, this is so much fun, I was just totally drained. So, it just takes a lot of energy. All right. Well, it was my office hours for Sunday. I did go through KFA Consulting's plans and what I've done for Leadership Development University and how that's going. So if you are watching the replay, again, put replay in the chat and let me know what types of content you're wanting to hear about. If you are a millennial manager and you're leading teams or you're leading leaders, like tell me that because that helps me know if I'm kind of talking to the right folks. And then I did get some feedback that people want like my like favorite apps for staying organized. So that is one video that I am like actively researching and gathering info for. I can tell you right now, I use Asana a ton. I'm trying to use Microsoft Teams at work like I use Asana to be organized, and I find it not as pretty, slightly more clunky, but it's very, very similar. So I'm probably going to be doing like a Microsoft Teams, maybe even comparing to Asana or just Teams and Asana as two of the ways that I stay super organized with my work. If you want like an app that I use, I have tried tons of apps in the past, and I find just keeping it super simple and also not having my phone, like not using my phone when I'm working because I get distracted, helps me. So things that you can use on your PC or your laptop, probably where I'm going to focus. So if you like the idea of a 8 p.m. on Sunday night office hours, put that in the chat. Give this video a like, a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. You can totally binge all of my videos. I would suggest the playlist on leading teams, as well as the Leader Standard Work playlist, and probably the Mindset playlist are the most viewed. And there is a specific video called transitioning from, it's called like leading my peers. How do I lead my peers? If you have to scroll all the way back. It's one of the first 10, 20 videos that I made, but it gets one of the most views kind of lately, so it's trending. So check that out. But let me know if you all like the idea of the 8 p.m. Central office hours. And if this time doesn't work, let me know if like another time would work, but you like this, the idea of this. And I will see you with my next video. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Good luck. I hope you don't have too much of the Sunday scaries, and hope Monday goes fabulous for you. I will see you soon. Bye.